use energy at your place? Do you think about it much? Most of us are a lot more aware these days about the need to save energy, and we're making choices all the time about buying energy efficient appliances or even thinking about installing solar panels. But are we getting complacent and not reaching our full potential? We're conducting a 2-year study of 10 suburban homes around the coastal area of Fremantle, Western Australia. This unique research project looks at the impact of design, behaviour and access to information on our home's environmental performance. We call the project Living Labs. In this episode, we're looking at how the homes are using energy. The 10 homes in the study all have a better than average operational environmental footprint, and the occupants are enthusiastic about living a more sustainable lifestyle. The Living Labs research team collected data over the first 12 months.
During the first 12 months, I was collecting data remotely. So all the data was being sent to me via a computer and I was analysing the data, but the houses didn't have access to them. I just left them go on with their routines and their lives.
As expected, the home's grid electricity use and gas use was well below the local average. But for this study, we want to see if there are more opportunities for reduction and if the householders will pursue them if we show them how. So after the first 12 months, we visited each home to reveal the data and conduct an audit. Catherine lives in a 4-bedroom, double brick home with her 3 boys aged 12 to 22. The house has a 2 kilowatt solar PV system, a solar hot water heater with a gas booster. It has wall and ceiling insulation and a reverse cycle ducted air conditioning system. They use an electric oven and a gas stove. Over the first 12 months, this home used 42% less grid electricity than the local average and 44% less gas. But the audit revealed some opportunities for easy gains. Our thermal imaging camera picked up some weak points in the insulation that could be looked at, and some behaviour changes could significantly reduce the household's use of air conditioning during the warmer months. The best way to do that is heat purging naturally of an evening. The most effective time to cool the house down internally is overnight. So that combined with looking at the set points for your aircon, but also those weak points that we found in the insulation.
Yeah.
You've done great so far, but it'd be great to see just how much you could reduce even further, particularly with that aircon usage.
Yeah, I think there's lots of room for improvement, and I think it'll be interesting to see how we go. I think just being able to see it, logging on, and being able to sit down with the boys and have a look at it from their perspective, I think it'll be interesting to see if we can.
Catherine is committed to taking on the tips and has set a goal of reducing her electricity and gas use by a further 10% by the end of the project. Alex and Renee live with their 2 young children in a renovated 1950s weatherboard home. They've installed wall and ceiling insulation and have a 1.5 kilowatt solar system. Solar hot water with electric booster, with no gas being used in the home. They use a reverse cycle air conditioner for heating and cooling. The data shows that over the first 12 months, they've used 47% less grid electricity than the local average, and of course, no gas. But the data and audit clearly show there is room to make even more savings. If we look at the data, there's still some significant energy savings potential, but mainly for the winter months, both for your hot water heating and also your space heating, but also the standby power. And whilst it may seem pretty minimal power use when you go through and have a look at them, they do add up. Appliance standby power actually accounts for around 10% of the typical household energy bill. This equates to around $100 annually and produces 750 kilograms of greenhouse gas. It's something we tend to forget about in our busy lives, but can all easily change.
I think it's getting back on track. I think we were much more committed quite a few years ago, so I think now it's a good time to have a think about it all again, see what we can do.
Alex and Renee have committed to reducing their electricity use by a further 10% by the end of the project. Michelle, Tim and their 2 young children are passionate about reducing their environmental footprint, and this 8-star, highly awarded sustainable home is proof of that. It's a solar passive design, has very little need for mechanical heating or cooling, has a 2 kilowatt solar system and a solar hot water system with electric booster. They use an electric oven and gas stove. The home is using 41% less grid electricity than the local average and 95% less gas. But the data revealed that their solar PV system had tripped, and for a period of time it wasn't working, causing a spike in their grid electricity use.
We're just talking about sort of becoming complacent with living in a house that you know is performing well, and I think that sort of thing is a good reminder, and it sort of brings you back around to start thinking about the house rather than saying, oh, the house is doing everything, we don't need to worry about it. So it's a good reminder.
It's a great point and proves just how important access to real-time data is in terms of managing the performance of our homes. So now all the households have a clear understanding of how their homes really use electricity and gas, and they've committed to specific reduction goals by the end of year 2 of the project. To help them meet their targets, we've set them up with access to their real-time performance data online, and we've also given them tailored tips to make savings through simple changes. So will the 10 households reach their targets by the end of the year? And how much will being able to access their real-time data affect their usage? To find out more about the Living Labs project, access fact sheets and tips for saving energy at your place, go to joshshouse.com.au. You can also join the conversation on the Josh's House Facebook page. Let's keep talking about how we can all run a more energy efficient home that benefits all of us.